Wow. Hey, I am excited to be here. But one thing I would like to say, the Bible teaches me to take care of myself first, then take care of my community, which he hath given me, the Holy Spirit, to take care of. The ideology is simple. The reality is, if I do not take care of myself first, if something should happen, they may not be able to take care of me or them. The best example I have ever seen of this, that I was flying from Chicago to San Francisco. And the stewardess, she got up. And the first thing she said, if for some reason the plane decided to depressurize or start to descend or start to go down, you are to reach up and pull the mask down and put it on your face first. She doesn't say that to say that I'm more important than my wife or my children. She said that to say, just in case something should happen, they may not be able to help you. So it is very, very, very important that we put the mask on the right face. But what we have done so far, we have put the mask on the wrong face. We have allowed the rich folks to live while we're dying. And it's time that we take this thing to a whole different level. We are failing our children. We're failing the generation right now. Until we take this thing to a whole different level, it's going to continue this way. Let me ask you a question. If the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, if both against inflation, why do we have inflation? If the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are both against unemployment, high unemployment, why do we have it? I see a problem. What we have done, we have put the mask on the wrong face. See, my story begins, I used to court watch. I started court watching in 1999. And I still do. And the reason why court watching is so important, what we have accomplished so far, we have filed a lawsuit against the court-appointed attorneys because they do not do their job. Court watching is something that you have to do. We get a chance to watch the judge, we get a chance to watch the prosecuting attorney, we get a chance to watch the court-appointed attorney. And we intimidate them by being there. When I go into the courthouse, I'm always right, and they don't know what I'm writing about. Then I throw a curve and tell them that I want the video of this judge, this prosecutor, this court-appointed attorney. I want everything he did today inside the courtroom. They're scared. They're intimidated because they don't know what Reverend Pinkney is going to do next. They know he's going to do something, but they don't know what. But then we start going to the city council meeting in Benton Harbor. One of the ladies, the senior citizen, she asked me to start, would I come to the county to the city commission meeting and help them. Our city was being taken over by Whirlpool. Whirlpool was getting land for free. They had 6 commissioners in their back pocket. And I use that term loosely, back pocket. Whatever they wanted, they got. They was in the process of accumulating 530 acres of land for free, plus our beach. They wanted to lease the beach for 99 years. That means my children's children, and their children will never enjoy that beach. So what we decided to do was simple. We decided that we had to do something. So we decided to recall one of the commissioners. His name was Glenn Yarborough. He was in their pocket. He's a big, rowdy guy, about 6'4", and he controlled all this was going on. What he said went. These other 5 commissioners were so intimidated by him, they voted his way to give Whirlpool this land, plus our beach. But what we did, we decided that we was going to do something. We did a recall of Glenn Yarborough. That took a lot of work. That took a lot of determination, because he had one of the largest families in the city of Benton Harbor. So that most of them come out and vote. Then he had Whirlpool money. We talking about a multi-billion-dollar company backing this young man. So they knew that victory was theirs. But what we did, we went out and used the absentee ballot. And we were successful. Before the election started, before it ended on February 22nd, 2005, we was over 300 votes ahead. So now we knew that they had to catch up. At the end of the day, they knew they had lost. We had spanked them. We had put Whirlpool to sleep. And we had also recalled Glenn Yarborough. The 530-acre project, the $1 billion project, now was lost. So they decided that they was going to do something really, really good. They decided that they was going to go out and find somebody to say that I paid them $5 to do this. So they went out and paid somebody $10 to say that I paid them $5. And that started the whole mess. See, Benton Harbor is a city that doesn't have a whole lot of money. We're talking about 70% of the people live below the poverty level. We're talking about, 70% of the people is unemployed. 90% live below the poverty level. And we're talking about a community that doesn't have very much. And that's why this was so important. So what they did, they decided that they was going to reverse the election. Even though they didn't have the votes to do so, they decided that we're going to take this election from the people and give it back to the corporation. Because without that, they could not get this land. Without the 6 votes, the whole project is deceased, is dead, is over. So now, what they decided to do, they said they had a little trial, which was led by, they controlled everything. They was paying people to come in and say different things. They said, these are their exact words, the reason why we're reversing this election is because Reverend Pinkney was involved. And then you had the newspaper. They say either Reverend Pinkney is a genius or he's a crook. It's one or the other. There's no in between. He's the smartest man we have ever met, or he's a crook. Because nobody can beat Whirlpool with all that money and also all the things that they were doing to win. So now they're excited because now they're back in the ball game again. Now they're talking. They're talking about this Jack Nicklaus signature golf course. They're talking about these $1 million homes they're going to build on our beach. They're talking about these hotels that they're building. Now they're saying that we got to figure a way to get rid of Reverend Pinkney. So what they did, they charged me with paying somebody $5 to vote and be in the possession of an absentee ballot. And here's the deal. They didn't say that I altered the absentee ballot. They didn't say I did anything wrong, forced somebody's name on it. The only thing they said that I did, that I had it in my hand. And they said that's 5 years in prison. 5 years. So they charged me 4 times for being in possession of an absentee ballot, plus paying somebody to do this. The first trial ended in a hung jury. Actually, we really won that case, but we just didn't get the verdict. The next trial was pretty interesting itself, too, because it was just fortunate enough that we had enough money to hire an attorney. Because no way in the world will I trust a court-appointed attorney. Even if he's free, I don't want him. Matter of fact, he can't even bring me water. That's how I feel about it. They just that bad. So we knew that we had to do some things. So we went out and got us an attorney. We spent our money. We had a little money saved. So we went out and got a good attorney. Matter of fact, we went out and got the best attorney. And it ended in a hung jury. Because they still had their relatives. They had all their relatives on the jury. They had guys that worked for the county. They had people. They had it all. They knew that they was going to get if they keep going, they were going to get a victory. So what they did next, the next trial, I lost. But I actually won, but I lost. I didn't get the verdict once again. So now we're really heading for trouble. They couldn't send me to prison, but what they did do, here's what they did. They gave me 5 years probation. And during that process, what I did do, I went out and I wrote an article. Excuse me for 1 second. And I put it in this paper right here. I quoted Deuteronomy 28, starting with the 15th verse. And it simply said, if you do not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and do all these things that is right, all these things will come upon you, and is scared the judge to death. He said, not only have you threatened me, but you have threatened my whole family. With a quote from the Bible. He said, you have done it, and I'm going to send you to prison for 3 to 10 years. Well, when he sent me to prison, actually, it was probably maybe the best thing that happened. The only bad thing about being in prison, I had to eat that food. And I tell you, eating that food was no picnic in the park. You almost have to force that food down your throat. You know, but I had a plan. I was living off of crackers. But the thing was, what made this so important, they knew what they had did. After they sent me to prison, they realized they had messed up. Because people all across the country started forming behind me. I had all these lawyers. I had the ACLU, the Lawyers Guild. I had my Buck Davis and Elliot Hall from the Black Panther, era. I had all these people who's there. Matter of fact, I had more lawyers than I had money. I had so many lawyers that I didn't know what to do. And they knew right then they was in trouble. But also, during that process, which is so important, I also ran for U.S. Representative, United States Representative for the 6th District in Michigan, inside the prison system, and which was so valuable because then the news media started following me everywhere I went. They would not leave me alone. I mean, you know, you get 4 or 5 interviews a day, and they drove them crazy. But it even get better. Soon as I got off the bus, I'm in prison now. Everybody heard I was coming, and it was so good because people was looking for me to do incredible things. As soon as I got off the bus, this Muslim brother came up to me and wanted to know, Reverend Pinkney, what are you going to do to help us? I said, he's about 6'6", and I looked at him. I said, wow, you know, he comes a little bitty on me and want me to help him. He should be trying to help me. That's what I'm thinking. He said, well, we got some issues here, man. We got some issues. I want you to look at it. I said, okay, well, I'll look at them. You know, let me get myself unpacked because I'm still haven't unpacked yet. So he said, as soon as I got unpacked, they was there waiting on me. Reverend, we got to do something. I said, okay, well, what around here people don't like? That's what I want to know. What do people do not like around here? And he came, he said, they got this fish. It's called the buck-naked fish. And I said, He said they only make 100 pieces of the buck-naked fish. So I said, well, we'll use it as a common ground for everybody. So what I did, the Muslim Brothers, they was the largest organization there. So I had them on my side. Then I went to the Aryan Nation, and I went to talk to them. When I first talked to this guy, he told me, he said, I don't even talk to black people. He said, I haven't been talking to somebody black in this place in 8 years. So he said, I don't even like black people. I said, well, my thing is this. It's not important whether you like me or not. That's not really important. We got some issues that we need to discuss and we need to work together. Right. So he kind of thought about that. He said, wow, he never heard nobody talk like that. And I said, it's important to us that we resolve this issue we got here. And if you don't like me, I ain't got a problem with that. You don't even have to speak to me, as long as we work together. So me and him walk the yard. See, in the prison system, they got a yard. And what you do, you walk around in circles. It makes you look like a crazy man. You just walk and walk and walk. We just walk. Maybe I put in about 5 miles that day talking to this guy. But at the end of the 5 miles, my last thing to him was tell him, I told him, I said, it's not really important whether you like me or not. Let's do something about it. He said, I'll go back and talk to my people. I said, all right, I'm not mad at you at all. So the very next day, now this is only my 2nd day there. Now remember, I've only been there, this is my 2nd day. Now the Aryan Nation brother, he came back and told me that he wanted to work with me. I appreciated that. So now I got to go to the skinheads. They was the next largest group. So I went and talked to him. We walked around, we just walked around in circles. That's how you do it there. And everybody on the compound see you walking around, and they see these guys walking with this black guy, this little big guy, black guy, and everybody getting excited, you know. So they decided they was going to come with us. Then we went and got the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans. We got the Indians. We had all the groups together. Then we had to go get the Christian brothers. The Christian brothers, the first thing they told me was that, Reverend, I got to pray about it. I don't think we're going to do anything because we don't do this and we don't do that. And I told them straight out, I said, well, if you're not with us, you're against us. We're going to roll right over you. And that's when he decided to think that we were serious about what we were doing, because anything that we did that wasn't there created a mess. So anyhow, the word got around about the buck-naked fish. Everybody talking about this buck-naked fish. This is the nastiest fish you ever seen or smelled in your life. You only cook 100 pieces. One for 1,400 people. 100 pieces. And it's nasty. You can smell it all over the compound. They call it the buck-naked fish. Anyhow, so now we're all excited because we're looking forward to Saturday. Everybody, we got over 1,000 people who are willing to go along with us. And any time that you organize, this is so crucial that people have to understand. You got to find something in common with these people. We need to, anytime you out here trying to recruit people, you got to find something that you have in common. And the bottom line is that we can win if we work together. Now, this thing is getting hot. Because now everybody is prepared for everybody looking for the Saturday. Because every Saturday they have this buck-naked fish. And everybody knows what Saturday means. Buck-naked fish. So now everybody getting ready. So here we go. Everybody goes to the cafeteria to eat. And they take a unit at a time. But many of them, you can sit maybe 500, 600 in this place. So what we did, everybody goes in, they ran out of the buck-naked fish. So now they have to give you peanut butter and jelly. They got to give you 3 square meals. The law requires you to have 3 square meals. And whatever on that menu, that's what they're supposed to give you. So now, everybody goes in and asks for the buck-naked fish. They're out of buck-naked fish. So now I have to go in there, because it's my job, it's my duty. I'm the very last person. And they got the warden there. They got the sergeant. They had all kind of folks at the end of the line. They was waiting for me to come, I guess. Because when I got in there, the first thing they said, there he is. And I only been there 4 days now. So, obviously they knew something was going on. So I goes in, the first thing I say to the cook, I said, I want some buck-naked fish. They said, we don't have none. I said, the menu said buck-naked fish. You got to go get me some buck-naked fish. He said, we don't have any buck-naked fish. I said, well, you said it. It's right there, buck-naked fish. I want my fish. And everybody looking and they just, I knew they weren't going to do nothing. So finally, they gave me some peanut butter and jelly. I go sit down. And when I sit down, the signal was once I drink my water, everybody get up and dump the food in the garbage. So I take a sip of my water. Everybody gets up at the same identical time. And we go and dump the food right in the garbage. They knew something was going on. They were so nervous, they didn't know what happened. Anytime you're in the prison system, anytime you can bring that many people together, they know there's an issue. But now, it gets even better than that. Because now they want to know, they call in all the leaders. They want to know what they wanted. I explained to them, you don't want anything, because if you say you want something, you locked up forever. That's how they do you. So I warned them ahead of time to make sure that you say when they call you in there, make sure you tell them you don't want nothing, because ain't nothing going on. That's all you got to do. They did it. Now, it's time for the next week. They say that they're going to outsmart us. So what they do, they go out and they cook 800 pieces of the buck-naked fish. 800 pieces. And you can imagine how that compound smells. All they have to do is cook 100 of it and the whole place is lit up. They cook 800 pieces of that buck-naked fish. And here's the thing that would make this so important, is because now people knew that they can win. See, a lot of times we be fighting, we don't think we can win. You inside the prison system, pinned down, and you got victories. That was a major victory for us. So now the next week, everybody is excited, because they don't know what I'm going to do or what I'm going to come up with. They knew I was going to come up with something. And they were depending on me, and everybody said, well, they're cooking 800, and it's over 1,000 of them, they still ain't going to have enough. So I said, no. What we going to do, we're not going to go. That's how you deal with that. We'll let them cook the 800 pieces, and then, sure enough, Saturday morning, nobody went. And they was mad as they could be. I was out there talking on the phone, talking to my wife, And matter of fact, them 5 guards came, and they said, Pinkney, you got to get out of here. We don't care where you go. You leaving this place. Because I know what you're doing here. I said, no, sir, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, yes, you do. I said, no, I don't. He said, you know what's going on. I had no idea that all this was going to happen. But what made it so bad, they had even planted a shank in my locker. They had planted a shank in my locker during this process. And it's just a miracle I found the shank and just threw it because I didn't even know it was a shank. Back out hell, he said, one of the bunkies said, that's a shank, that's a shank, what's a shank? He said, that's a shank. I'm putting it down my pants trying to get it out of there. Because that's another charge. They was going to do all they can to heal me up. But I tell the story for the simple reason. What makes this story so important is that it's a piece of organizing tool. We have to learn to organize. Get people who you're not familiar with. It's not important whether people like you or not. That's not important. All we have to do is find something in common. And we can find something in common, we should be able to work with everybody. You should be out there on Wall Street with these folks. You should be there with them. Everybody can't go, but some of us can. So that's so important. But I learned from this. I learned the meaning of organizing. But the best part of this story is that now I'm about to get an appeal bond. Nobody gets an appeal bond in the Michigan prison system. And they gave me an appeal bond. I was released. Well, I had went to 8. Nobody wanted me, first of all. Every prison I went to, the warden made sure that I got out of there. He made sure nobody wanted me inside the prison system. They said I was a bad influence on them. I had done some terrible things, and they didn't want me. Nobody wanted me. It was that, they pack me up and take me to a prison, and you see that when a warden meet people in prison when a prisoner comes, they don't really do that, but they did that to me, and they wanted to question me about that. But the thing was, we have to move this thing to a whole different level. I'm the only guy in the history in the state of Michigan, I can't talk about California, where they didn't want me in their prison. And I really appreciated that because it kept carrying me everywhere I went. But anyway, let me get to the point because I don't want to take up too much of your time. Here we are now. It's 2008. And we got an election coming up that year. And the thing was, we had to put some folks in office so we can take control of this commission. That year we won 4 seats. We put 4 of our people in office. And they knew that Reverend Pinkney was back. And they knew that right then and there that we was doing good. We had a total now of 7 votes. 2 of them jumped ship on us, but we expect somebody always jump ship. That's the way they do. So now we're in control of the commission. We basically got them stopped from taking over the land in Benton Harbor. So they came up with an ace of their own. They came out with Public Act 72 was already there. That brings in an emergency financial manager. And what he do, he takes control of the city. Finances only. He only takes control of the finance. And what he do is really simple. He decides who gets what, who can work where. But that wasn't good enough for Whirlpool. They had to have it all. So they came up with the new one, which was House Bill 4214, House Bill 4215, House Bill 4216, 17, and 18. And that House Bill became Senate Bill 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, 158. And then that became Public Act 4. Well, Public Act 4 says that this emergency financial manager is no longer just a manager, he's a dictator. He controls everything within your city. Your vote means nothing. We now have taxation without any representation. This financial manager, right now, he claims, this is what he said, I didn't say this, you can look it up on the internet. He said he's the fire chief, he's the police chief, he's the chief of public safety, he's the accountant, he's everything. He said every single citizen in the city of Benton Harbor voted against him, and he voted for him, he wins. It doesn't make a difference what you say or what you do. I'm in control here. I tell the stories around here. hire people, I fire people. I bring in my people and get rid of Benton Harbor people. This is how I do business. And he's so bold, he'll say anything. He told the commissioners, I'm going to let you have a meeting. But you can take minutes and you can adjourn it. You can't vote on nothing. I don't care what it is. Just this past week, he vetoed Constitution Week. He decided that the city of Benton Harbor could not have Constitution Week. That was his thing. The commissioner voted to have Constitution Week. He voted not to have Constitution Week. And that's what I'm telling folks, why things are so important. That's why we have to learn to work together. We have to come together and fight this monster. This is like a Rodan or Godzilla. Because when they first came out, you didn't know how to kill Godzilla and Rodan. See, but now we got somebody who we're fighting against. And here's the bad part that people don't know. We got them on the run. Little bitty Benton Harbor. We got these guys on the run. Here's what happened. May 7th, we had what we call our Blossom Time Parade. And every year we have Blossom Time Parade. It's a St. Joseph, the rich St. Joseph, and the Pope Benton Harbor. It's a combination of both, you see. And it's like, they call them Twin Cities. It was like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny Devine. Those two, you know, that's how twin they are. So anyhow, on this specific day, the St. Joseph individual and their mayor, they invited Rick, we call him the Rick Taylor Snyder, to be the grand master of the parade. And we had the union, the UAW came in, we had the AFL-CIO, we had all these folks come in from out of town that came in buses, came in about 20 buses. We just packed the whole area, the whole town. And Governor Snyder thought all these folks was for him. He said all these people are coming because most of them was Caucasians. So he figured that these folks, they're coming to greet me. And sure enough, they was there to greet him, but not the way he thought. So instead of him riding inside the convertible, he decided that he was going to walk and he was going to wave to everybody. He was waving with both hands, and he got right on this side of the bridge. They loved him. But we had more people on this side than they had on that side. So now he's in a position now where he started walking across and just waving, and we waved on him. We all turned our backs to him. Everybody turned their back, then everybody started shouting, "Recall Rick! Recall Rick! Recall Rick!" And every time he passed, we joined the parade. We talking about 6,000 to 7,000 people joining the parade, following him everywhere he go. He was so intimidated that he didn't know where to go. It was just so much excitement just watching us, just follow him. And we had our signs and everything. Oh, they put it all on the internet. Even their own corporate media. Their own corporate media said it was a bad day for Governor Snyder. It was a bad day. Because he saw, and sure enough, when you got 6,000 people who wasn't originally in the parade, join the parade, you know there's a problem. And then nothing the police can do, because it was just too many. Even the chief said, it was way too many of y'all. I didn't anticipate that. I said, we didn't anticipate you being here and being part of it. So we ran and right behind. And then as soon as he said, the chief of police told him, you better get out of here. This doesn't look good because we can't protect you. He ran and jumped in his SUV and drove off, and we followed him. We followed him all the way until he got out of town. And he didn't like that part. It was so much intimidation that it was so tremendous that even him, he couldn't stand it. But here's the most important thing out of all of that. Now, they had just given Benton Harbor High School teachers and the regular teachers a pink slip. They told them that you can come back if you're willing to take a 25% pay cut. Union busting. That's what it was. They decided that now, if you want to come back, you have to come back under these conditions. But here's what happened. After May 7th, we did that march on the governor. I call it a brutal attack. You know, and I think that that's how we have to do. We have to make them either put up or shut up. That's right. We have to stop allowing them to intimidate us. Let's intimidate them. Let's take this thing to a whole different level. Let's show them what we're capable of doing. Too many times we're so afraid to move. And the best part about this whole thing, we can win. So here's what he did. He rescinded that order to terminate all the teachers inside the city of Benton Harbor and renew their old contract. Woo! If that would have never happened, he would have never did that. But it even got better than that. We've been fighting for the expungement of people's criminal records. And you can, usually if you have one felony and one misdemeanor charge, they won't do it. Now you can have a felony and 2 misdemeanor charges, and they'll expunge your record. So that's what I'm talking about. He signed that on June 23rd. He would have never signed that. Only because he knows that we're serious about what we're doing. Now what he's trying to do, we're trying to get rid of this EFM, this dictator. We can't see it, and the way we're doing it, we're on the attack. Everything he's doing, we even picket his house. We go to this guy Joe Harris' house and pick it right in front of his house. Then he's in a meeting, we picking it outside his meeting. We let them know that we're serious about what we're doing. And I believe in one thing, that I'm going to attack you. I'm not going to allow you to intimidate me. I'm going to intimidate you until you can prove that you can intimidate me. And that's how I look at it. I don't care nothing about no prison. That's the last thing on my mind. I said, if you shoot your best shot, we're going to win. It's time. It's time that we say enough is enough. 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 It's time that we stop allowing them to intimidate us. It's time that we start intimidating them. It's time that we go to their home and sit on their steps, went outside, and let the community know that these are bad people. These are not good people. I wear this shirt, I wear it everywhere I go. I want people to know who these people are. These are bad people. Don't tell me the media say they good. They're not good. These are real bad people. They're wanted for crimes against humanity. That's right. I'm not ashamed to tell them who they are. And that's how we have to start calling these people out. We got to take this thing to a whole different level. And I tell you, some of the victories that we have achieved in this little bitty city of Benton Harbor is so amazing that people could never believe. If we hadn't stopped it right now, they had already trained 400 EFMs to take over the whole state of Michigan. We done put a stop to that almost. I'm not sure yet how well we're doing, but right now, they not there. They not there. And they not there because we're not putting up with it. You're going to have to come up with something. You're going to have to shoot your best shot because I'm coming at you. Believe me, I am. And I tell you this, hey, get real. Let's take this thing. Let's everybody start working together. Let's take this thing to another level. Let's do things together. It's not important whether you like each other. As long as we have the same common bond, the same common goal, and we want to stop these corporations. That's the most important thing. Fascism is right there in the city of Benton Harbor, and we allow it to happen. People sit on their butts and don't want to do nothing. We're going to run right over you too. It don't make no difference. You know, I think like this. We have to move. So I say this in my closing. I know I've been talking, but enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. And on that note, we can win.